This is a short demonstration video of some TV antennas I made for sale or trade. I'll demonstrate it in a little bit, but I wanted to go over the instructions for making them are available on the internet. You could use copper wires, but these are just coat hangers where the ends have been scraped off where the connections are made. I found the copper wire was too hard to keep it straight, and these were white hangers, so you can use regular brown ones. You want to put some sort of insulation so these two wires don't touch, and you do want to have it crisscrossed. I mean, it will work without it if you end up doing it straight, but there's a reason for it. There's phase cancellation or something like that. And this type of transformer will work, but then you need to have an adapter, and it seems like you don't get such a strong signal as with one of these types. And they're available at the dollar store. Well, most dollar stores. Dollar Tree does not carry them, but most of the other smaller mom and pop shops do carry them. If you have the choice between different brands, this brand here does not seem to work as well. I mean, it will work, but it seemed like this other one, this Vivitar brand, was a little bit clearer. Got the stations in a little bit more clearer. And you want to make sure that's exactly halfway between there, but the instructions are on the internet. And I didn't make any. I tried it with the backing reflector, and it didn't really seem to improve the performance. So I'm not including. I didn't finish making them because I took it off, and it actually blocked some of the signals for some of the one tower that's in the opposite direction of the rest of them, because most of the broadcast towers are about northeast of this location. So what I've done here is hung it on a little plant swivel hook. That way I can adjust it whichever direction is best for some channels. This comes down into the TV here. I've got a regular store-bought $10 at Target. Because the only problem with this antenna is you don't get, at least here in the Washington D.C. area, channel 7, which is ABC, and channel 9, which is CBS, stayed on VHF. So you still need some rabbit ears and to get those two stations. And you probably want to get an AB switch box. Run the two different antennas before going into your main one. This is a cheap dollar store one. It's almost the same looking one that they sell at Walmart for $6, but you might want to go to Radio Shack or someplace like that, buy like a $10 or $15 better quality one. This is an old-fashioned one, but this is a little bit better signal. The only reason is because it will work just like the other cheaper of the two transformers. This does work, but it seemed like I was losing one station because of it. It wasn't as high quality, but it does work. And you would wire it differently as far as two antennas going to one source than if you have basic cable and you want to switch between the antenna and basic cable. It gets wired differently than for just the two antennas. The reason I was bringing up the rabbit ears was because, yeah, about channel 7 and 9, the VHF frequencies are much more, I guess, directional. So for each channel, you'd have to find the sweet spot in the room and kind of just keep it there. Whereas with the other antenna, you can find pretty general area in the room that gets the best signal for all the different channels, and you'll be okay with it. So I know with this particular location, I usually get about 31 channels on it. I'll show you. Also, the more things you put into the signal path, as far as the AB switch box and things like that, the more it's going to cut back on signal, the more it's using up the antenna's signal. You can get a gain amplifier, a preamplifier, that gets mounted at the antenna if you're going to have it outside or further up, like up in the attic or something like that. And if you wanted one antenna to feed the whole house, then you would need a distribution amplifier. So there's two different kind of amplifiers if you're going to have it run a long distance or to feed multiple TVs. So what I'm going to do here is press the menu, go ahead and hit scan. And the different converter boxes have different features. This one has a nice signal strength button, which I'll demonstrate in a little bit. Because the other rabbit ears will pull in a bunch of channels, but they're not very strong. They'll be pixelating a lot. So, we'll let this scan through. Sometimes it'll stop on 7 and 9 as it's scanning because it's picking up some signals, but not enough to really lock onto it. So, it'll either end on 26 channels or 31, and I'll show you why. Well, there's 5 international channels that are from the opposite direction, so depending on the time of day, so that's 26 channels. So we'll start off, because it starts off with the lowest one, that's channel 4. I can press the signal button. Can't really see the color too well, but you can hear it beeping. I can go up. The next one is channel 4 is weather. Station. Why is the color going weird like that? That's the camera. Oh, okay. Strong signal. NBC Sports or Universal Sports. Strong signal. Channel 5. Strong signal. 14, Spanish channel. Channel 14 also has a second channel which I'm not broadcasting anything on right now, but you can see it's a strong signal. Channel 20, strong signal. Channel 22, this is a Maryland station, that public TV that got bumped off of basic cable because it's over in Maryland and I'm in Virginia, and they have a couple sub-channels. And that's one where I might have to turn the antenna left or right, sometimes depending on time of day. And all those little lines you're seeing on the TV aren't really on there. That's the camera showing that. When I go back on the signal, I'll show you. It shows low on the bar graph, but you can hear the constant beeping, which is good. Channel 26 has 4 sub-channels. They're basic HD1. This is another one I might have to turn the antenna a little bit left or a little bit to the right, depending on the time of day. That's a cooking one or travel one. The kids channel. And then the 4th one is basically the same as the standard channel. Again, all that artifact right there is not actually on the TV. The camera's causing that. Now MHC is actually 10. They have 10 sub-channels, and the first 5 I think come out of Falls Church, the Merrifield area, so that's really strong. You'll see. Whereas the you'll watch it'll drop off. So it goes right from 30.05 to 32. I can get 30.05, 30.10, but I need to move the antenna sometimes depending on what time of day it is. Those are coming from a different location, even though it's actually 2 different stations combining into one station. WNBT, WNBC, 2 different stations from 2 different opposite directions. So I can get those if I really wanted to, but they're international stations that I don't really watch. Channel 50, sometimes I might have to move that left or right. And they also have a second station from Channel 50, which is called This TV. You can see how strong that is. Steady beat. This is CW. So, and then channel 66, 4 stations. The regular one, kids one, lifestyle, and then Christian worship. And 66, channel 22, and 32 were bumped off of basic cable. So it's nice to get these stations back, and they're all coming in clear because of that antenna. So, and if you move the antenna, you want to move it slowly. You can, if you have one that shows the signal like this, you can just pick it up and leave it on like that, and then move it slowly throughout the room, and it will help you locate the best location for it.